Apple TV Plus' WeCrashed follows the true story of WeWork's rise and fall, yet in the process, the show changes some things. WeWork is the brainchild of Israeli billionaire Adam Neumann, played in WeCrashed by Jared Leto, who sought to create a communal space for workers in a growing gig economy. Starting in 2008, WeWork was not the first shared workspace company, yet over time it certainly became the most well-known. Its eccentric, visionary leader coupled with its party atmosphere brought much attention to WeWork, attracting enough investors to eventually give it a $47 billion valuation. The Apple TV Plus show is based on the Wondery podcast of the same name and focuses on Adam Neumann and his wife, Rebecca, Anne Hathaway, from the moment of WeWork's inception to its downfall, which eventually ousts Neumann as CEO. WeCrashed is pretty accurate on many things, detailing the major points of the WeWork story and portraying how Neumann was perceived by his employees and investors. Still, some aspects were left out and inevitable changes were made to the story in WeCrashed. Adam's theme song was "Juicy, not Roar." Adam's insistence on the music was not always popular. Adam Neumann, Jared Leto, on his private jet, Notorious B.I.G. Crown Picture. One of the most famous Notorious B.I.G. songs is the rapper's motivational anthem about his rise to fame and success from humble beginnings, 1994's "Juicy," which WeCrashed replaces with Katy Perry's "Roar." Bookending the series, "Roar" plays on Neumann's demand when WeCrashed introduces him and is then sprinkled throughout before it closes out the final episode. Like "Roar" in WeCrashed, Neumann sometimes asked for "Juicy" to be blared on speakers upon his arrival at WeWork's headquarters. The enigmatic Neumann built an aura around himself that he would expect his assistants to create via elements like Notorious B.I.G.'s "Juicy." The song was so critical to Neumann that Elliot Brown and Maureen Farrell's 2021 book The Cult of We tells of employees sometimes having to endure listening to "Juicy" on repeat for hours on end after prepping the WeWork headquarters for his expectant arrival. Adam and Miguel actually met at a work party. The two co-founders became fast friends. Adam Neumann meeting Miguel McKelvey, WeCrashed. WeCrashed changes how Neumann first meets WeWork's co-founder Miguel McKelvey, Kyle Marvin, by having the two meet after a venture capitalist meeting. In a Baruch College lecture hall with McKelvey in attendance, Neumann delivers his idea for a shared communal living space. While Neumann's ideas don't entice any of the VCs, McKelvey reaches out to Neumann afterward to tell him that he can acquire the necessary office space needed to house his startup ideas. From then on, the two developed the concept of WeWork. In real life, Neumann happened to work in the same building as McKelvey and met his co-founder at an office party. The two bonded over their similar, community-based upbringing. Neumann was raised on an Israeli kibbutz and McKelvey lived on an Oregonian commune. Because of this, both valued the concept of building community in an increasingly isolated world. Adam met his wife Rebecca through a friend. The romance was the result of a blind date. Like the Miguel Adam introduction, WeCrashed changes how Neumann meets Rebecca, his wife and WeWork muse. Considered by Vanity Fair as the one who puts the woo-woo in WeWork, Rebecca Neumann is part of the affluent Paltrow family and has a penchant for the unconventional and spiritual. She studied Buddhism at Cornell University and, as shown in WeCrashed, was a yoga teacher in New York City when she met Neumann. In real life, Neumann met a friend of Rebecca's from Cornell named Andy Finkelstein at a party. Finkelstein then introduced Neumann to Rebecca through a blind date. WeCrashed bypasses the middleman, removing Finkelstein entirely and having Neumann meet Rebecca at a rooftop party directly. Adam had close ties to Ashton Kutcher. The actor has a history of venture capitalism. Adam Neumann WeCrashed and Ashton Kutcher in that 70s show, real-life WeWork ties. According to the Cult of We, Neumann and Rebecca became involved at the Kabbalah Center in Los Angeles and became connected to celebrities like Lucy Liu, Demi Moore, and actor Ashton Kutcher. Kutcher, who became a venture capitalist in his own right, became a major supporter of Neumann and WeWork. When the SoftBank investment fell through, leaving WeWork to build its brand back up, Kutcher became an especially important asset that Neumann liked to utilize by including him in interviews and allowing him to speak at events. However, WeCrashed doesn't touch on the partnership. This is understandable considering how the show is a limited series focusing on the Neumanns.